Welcome! Are you interested in finding out about shadow work and how to actually do it? I'll explain and give you an exercise in this video. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content. My name is Stephanie. You probably know me as Altered States of Consciousness. So that brings me to the question, what is shadow work? I see so many people talking about shadow work all over the internet. It seems most people agree that shadow work is a necessary part of the spiritual path, but rarely do I see shadow work explained and/or how to do it. I talked all about the shadow self in my last video, so make sure to check that one out if you haven't yet. I'll link it at the top of the screen. So in this video, we'll dive straight into shadow work. Here's a brief overview of the shadow self according to Wikipedia. In Jungian psychology, the shadow, also known as the shadow aspect or shadow archetype, is either an unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify in itself, or the entirety of the unconscious, meaning everything of which a person is not fully conscious. In short, the shadow is the unknown side, which is why it bears the name shadow. One of my favorite quotes from the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who initially discovered the shadow self, goes, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Since the shadow is unconscious aspects of the self, shadow work is a process of making the unconscious aspects of self conscious. You discover these unconscious aspects by looking at your upbringing and programming since childhood to discover where you have been forced to deny aspects of yourself that were innate in order to be accepted by your caretakers, family members, peers, friends, society, the media, etc. Shadow work is also integrating pain and trauma that exists within your subconscious, because your subconscious holds every memory and experience that you've been exposed to throughout this life. These painful and traumatic experiences can work like a computer glitch in your brain, because your subconscious is always trying to protect you from getting hurt again, even when that means causing anxiety, hypervigilance, isolation, depression, addiction, obsessive-compulsive disorder, etc. in your daily life. I have a course that guides you through this process step by step. It works by examining yourself on a conscious and subconscious level to learn more about who you are and how you tick, and why you have remained unsuccessful in areas of your life or have overcompensated in others. It will guide you in the process of connecting with your shadow side so that you can discover why we have strong emotional reactions to certain situations and witness memories and traumas in the subconscious that are ready to be healed and integrated. My course also gives you the opportunity to reprogram whatever you find within the shadow that is no longer serving you, and perhaps could be holding you back in areas of your life. I hope that explanation helps you understand what shadow work is, and don't forget to watch my last video, which explains what the shadow self is in more detail. I'll link it again at the top of the screen. Now I will guide you in a shadow work exercise. Please get out a pen and paper. Just pause the video if you need a moment to grab them. Okay, ready? Here we go. A simple definition of shadow is that it is the person who you usually are not. Therefore, it makes sense to get to know the person that we normally are, the version of ourselves that our ego is trying to project to the world. So go ahead and write down a list of all the aspects of self that you identify with on a day-to-day basis. In other words, who are you? How do you see yourself? How does the world see you? Is there an emotion that dominates your experience? Examples from my list are empathic, thoughtful, capable, polite, and kind. I'll go ahead and give you a few minutes to write down your list. Alright, so how'd that go? It shouldn't be that surprising to write these things down. These are the aspects of self that you identify with the most. Now it's time for some shadow work magic. Go back to your list and make a new section titled Shadow Self. Now, I want you to write down the exact opposite of every word you wrote down on your previous list. I'll give you a couple minutes to do so. This might feel a bit uncomfortable, but just humor me for a moment. Okay, I'll bet that was a bit harder than your first list, right? That's because you actively try to deny that these aspects of self exist within you. And you probably spend a great deal of energy suppressing any desire to behave like your shadow list. It's important to realize that these shadow traits are not inherently evil or negative. In fact, in some cases, these behaviors are necessary and may protect you. It's also important to understand that our shadow doesn't utilize our conscious intelligence, and therefore it's unable to communicate clearly, and it's more sensitive than our egoic side. Please be gentle with yourselves when looking at this list. Shadow work is a process of discovering and learning to accept, understand, and eventually love your shadow side. If you need assistance in integrating what you've discovered today, or if this topic has piqued your interest, please check out my course, The Essential Guide to Shadow Work, which will be the first link in the description box. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to my channel. I'll be showing you all more shadow work exercises in the future. And please share this video with a friend, maybe someone who is curious about shadow work. See you all next time.